Good afternoon, everybody. It's Brian Suter here. Brian Suter with the Suter Company. Well, right now, we're going to talk about entrepreneurship, kind of what makes us tick, and what kind of how our mind thinks a little bit different than the normal person. So, my videos are for kind of two people: existing entrepreneurs. Maybe I can give you some guidance, and then maybe I can answer some questions that you've always had, like, oh, that's why I'm like this. And then number two, aspiring entrepreneurs. So number two, aspiring entrepreneurs. This is also for you as well. So the key we're going to talk about now is the keyword distractions. It's what made or allowed me to make my most recent comeback is that I shut down a company that I felt was not opened up in the right method. I felt like, we had this wrong and this wrong and this wrong. We're gonna scratch it. We're gonna liquidate everything, and we're gonna start clean when the time is right. I did a lot of spiritual work in that process. As I did that spiritual work, I took some time out, and then when I was ready, I re-engaged with a niche I've had for some time, but I felt like some of that spiritual work, which we'll talk about later, helped manifest that into something much, much bigger, incredibly bigger. So one of the biggest things that I've done to ensure that I've succeeded this time around is I've gotten rid of distractions. So if I felt like something was not serving me to the best of my abilities and it was a distraction, I removed that from my life. Some people may call it an isolation. I did not, because I was always in the zone. I was always meditating, if anything. I was always reading. I was always researching and always preparing. And I had a revenue stream that was making me a large amount of money, and I wasn't living, a wild life. In fact, I got rid of all my fancy cars, and all that money I put into building the Suter Company. So I actually humbled myself, lived very simply, and put myself set back. I have no stress in my life right now. It's been a beautiful thing. Right now my stress levels are so low, and I got pretty lean and mean, meaning I wiped out a lot of my overhead that was unnecessary. And then I handle, I take on expenses as I feel are important. So let's talk about distractions. There's a variety of distractions I feel that are just hitting us at all times that we don't even realize is taking you from your prosperity. Now, some of these I'm going to get some pushback on. I get it, because it's become embedded into your life. What I've had to do is unlearn these things and wipe them out of my life. The first thing we're going to talk about is news. Yes. When I look at news today, I read it. I get the information I need to very quick. I'm in, I'm out. I understand what's going on, and that's it. I don't need to go in and get programmed with the computer and let them embed nonstop in my head over and over again. That's a distraction. So number one, news. Now that goes with that is politics. Politics. Why would you want to get upset over something you cannot control? Okay? And that is the biggest distraction from your destiny. Because if you're focusing on Trump and Hillary and whatever, then you're not focused on your goals. You're getting distracted, you're getting heated up, which actually you'll find out through my later teachings that anger is actually something that will actually take away from your prosperity. So you're actually hurting yourself when you get distracted by that. Also, stay away from negative people in general. And this is going to be another one. A lot of what I'm going to tell you, again, I'm going to get pushback, but family members. We all have family members, and some of them which they have the best intentions for you. And they will be also naysayers, and they'll give you advice that they think will be best to serve you. But only one person knows what is best for you, and that's you. And you want to follow that gut. You want to follow your heart. You really want to follow that heart and go in that direction. You don't want a distraction of a family member. My mom She's a genius, self-made millionaire female. She owns a very profitable law firm. Her decisions for me were to me to take over the firm. That wasn't my decision. I walked away from a enterprise where I would be basically a guaranteed millionaire if I followed her steps, but that's not me. This is me. And I made sure I was not distracted by my mom's vision for myself, no matter what the reward would have been. In fact, I feel that reward would have been taken away from my freedom, which is really what entrepreneurship is about. Let's talk about if you're single. Okay, this is a great time for single men to be an entrepreneur. So one of the biggest mistakes, I'm going to talk about a mistake that I did as an entrepreneur when I was in my 20s. I'm now 44. I remember getting invited to red carpet events and being distracted by all these beautiful women and not having my game face on, and going in, just talking to her and her and her. And then there was another group of my friends, they don't drink or anything, they just had their game face on. I watched them in front of me become millionaires. I was making like six figures in my 20s. They were making 7 already because they had their game face on and they were not getting distracted by, this girl, this girl, this girl. They were actually allowing themselves to really keep their eye on the ball, which is kind of laser focused. So I'm not saying don't date, you can do anything within reason's fine. But anything again in reason is fine. But what you'll find is if you do eliminate all distractions, almost live like a Navy SEAL monk, like both, and then you take on all that wealth, which you will if you follow some of the principles that I'll present to you in due time, those women will be waiting for you, and you'll have beautiful women waiting for you because you're just going to be a better man all around. You've actually taken the time to not just better yourself. Hopefully you add a good diet, which I add that into my life as well, a fitness plan. When you really take yourself on a large level, you'll find that those beautiful princesses are going to be waiting for you. So that's another distraction. Last one, again, I'm going to get pushed back. Sports. So a lot of people, I grew up in Baltimore for a period of time, and I have a lot of Raven friends, and they have, websites or Facebook, pages specific to their football team. But what I've come to understand is a lot of them live pretty average lives because they've allowed their life to be consumed with the distraction of a sport, football. Anything in balance, like I told you, is fine. But when you do that, you're taking away from your dreams. So an entrepreneur can't be posted up with a beer in your hand and watching sports nonstop and expect to be successful. You should be taking that time and spending it reading, focusing on what's going to better you. And hence it goes back to what I said before, what's going to serve or what's going to be best in serving you. How is that going to serve you? How does watching sports for hours upon hours and engaging in those conversations going to best serve you? You should ask yourself that question. Thank you for everything. This is Brian Suter signing out.